crispy.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Figures in Action. And yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look before I get into this video. I'm gonna kind of go through each individual floor there in that station. So before I get into that, I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like with it's inside of the Detolf. So this is an IKEA Detolf is what they're called, and this is a favorite amongst action figure collectors to basically display their figures, their collection. So had been asked to do, this is the second one I've done. The first one I did, the kind of the rooftop ended up here, and so this one's taller as it went all the way past the structure of the Detolf, and it's, you know, now you have the extended rooftop section there. So wanted to just give you guys an idea of what it looks like once you you know, kind of install it into the Detolf. And also you have to, once again, with the last Detolf as well, and the thing is that I switched my measurements. Like I went, you know, a couple centimeters smaller, and you still have to kind of build it inside of each individual box, which isn't difficult at all. But just wanted to take a quick couple minutes to just show this, and let's get into the guts of this. So what I'll do is I'll do maybe a minute and a half per floor, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. Let's just kind of go through with it, or go through with it. Why did I just say it twice? Let's just go through the process. Let's see if it's necessary to go longer than a minute and a half or so per floor. So this is just the rooftop, and it's magnetized. It's pretty basic in terms of not much happening here except for the build. I wanted to. This is not magnetized. This is kind of tight enough in between these two pieces that are magnetized already, so that, you know, so that's magnetized there. And it's magnetized there, so that kind of tightens it up enough that this piece didn't have to be magnetized. But yeah, like a lot of these rooftops aren't, you know, anything, especially when it's just a basic rooftop. It's, again, it's not destroyed or it's not anything. But the one thing I did enjoy about this is that this piece actually goes on top of the Detolf, which is kind of cool because it's pretty much the tallest dio I think I've ever built. So this is just a rooftop, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go. This is, let's call this the 5th floor. We're just gonna go down, down to the 4th and 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. All right, so here is the top floor that isn't the rooftop. So basically the idea here is pretty much for it to be a destroyed type of building, or that's what the client wanted. So we went with that. Decided to kind of just with the top not make, you know, just kind of make it so that the destruction stops somewhere, and it's kind of centralized to kind of the middle of the building. And what I use here is, as always, this is installation foam. This stuff on the inside. This stuff is just project foam board, as is this. So I've done this technique before, and I like this better than just trying to carve the bricks out of the foam, out of the pink foam. Instead, just kind of doing a separate layer. So this is a separate layer from this, as it is from this, and it gives it a little more depth. And then these little pieces I've had for a while, man, and I lost them, and then I found them, and I found them again when I needed them most. And this is just kind of the rebar that's destroyed. And what I like about it, it's kind of a waxy type of material, and so that, you know, you can bend it almost any way you want. It's glued into the wall, and even when I send it, if it comes where it's kind of in a position he doesn't like it, then you know, he can kind of fix that. So that is the first, or the top floor. There you can see the side of it. Went with basswood for here, as I did for these kind of the bottom portions here, and that's just foam. That's just that white project foam. The door is actual wood, so it's basswood, I believe, or no, I'm sorry, balsa wood. The frame is basswood, and the idea here is, instead of painting the doors, I wanted to go with a natural wood type of feel, so those doors are actually stained. So, you know, which I always kind of like that look, and it was a different look. So this is floor number 4. Alright, and here we are at floor number 3. So what I'll do is I'm going through it. There's certain things that I'm forgetting to discuss. Like for example, what I used for the floor for the last floor was felt. So there's just a piece of felt that is self-adhesive. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I created in terms of the floor was gonna adhere and not bubble up and any of that. Sometimes with paper it can happen depending on the weather, the temperature rather. So wanted to make sure that the floor stayed solid. So this is just felt, and also wanted to let you guys know that these are a bunch of different individual pieces that I cut up and painted. Did not paint the back because for the most part they're gonna be laying flat, and even if you leaned it up against the door or whatever, you wouldn't be able to see the pink part. But yep, same deal here. This one comes apart a little bit differently. It's just one for I think the second and third floor. It just has these kind of pillars that you put in the front. And then these pieces you take these out individually. And the way I kind of have it built, it's so that they can kind of slot into the spaces, and hopefully it makes it kind of easier to build. And it also helps with sometimes there's warping of these boards, so it helps with some of the boards were warped, so I had to kind of find a way to hide it. So did that there. So this is the next floor, and then what I use, these are just the bricks are glued permanently. These pieces of wood are permanent, and these doors don't open, FYI. So this is floor number 3. All right, and this is the second floor. A little bit similar to the one I just showed. The difference is that all of the floors, I don't know if you guys have noticed so far, all of the floors have a different interior design. What I had in mind when I created this building is I wanted it to be like a, I don't know, like kind of these newer modern buildings where it's just not the same kind of old boring vanilla colors on the wall. So I wanted to make it a little more, I guess, cutting edge or whatever. So that was kind of my idea. I love the color, the wall, and this is what this is scrapbook paper. I call it wallpaper, but it's scrapbook paper pretty much. So if you go to Joann's, I think Joann's Fabrics has it, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, they have a whole section for scrapbooking. It's a big deal. Like, people been doing it for a long time. So I just a lot of times choose just different combinations that I think will kind of pop. And what I like about this, for example, is the floor colors similar to the wall color, and it just gets contrasted by the middle color there. But everything I guess gets tied together by kind of this cream color, and then you kind of have that symmetry of the wood. So yeah, so this is floor number 2. Yeah, man, I really like how these came out. It was a lot of brick carving. It was a lot of carving of brick, man. Let me just say that. But totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right, and let's show the last floor. And last but not least, this is the bottom floor, and it's probably my favorite floor. I love how that door came out. I kind of just love the personality of this floor. Some basic colors in terms of, because this is the lobby, so you don't want it to be too crazy. So it has some more, neutral colors, and I think it works well with the rest of the building. And then there's the elevator. So you can't tell, maybe you could, but that paper is kind of this aluminum paper. And then throughout the dial, you'll see that the walls are all kind of dented up, and that's just from the explosion and just rubble and rocks and so forth hitting that back wall. So that was kind of the idea there. So the way everything is set up, so the elevator's on this side, then on the other side is kind of these doors, right? So the people you walk in, action figures, what have you, get on the elevator, they go up, and when they get off at the hallway, let's say on the first floor, the apartment's there, which is why that door is there, because that door is just leading into an extra room. The rest of the apartment will be deeper into the structure, but of course it's a Detolf, so you have to use your imagination. That's as much as you can build with the confined space that you get in terms of creating these Detolfs. So I think I've discussed everything. I don't think there's not much more to kind of go through. At the end of this video, there's definitely a lot of kind of behind the scenes. What I'll do is I'll just kind of post try to make a short video in terms of the guts of it, and then at the end, after I show the pictures, what I'll do is I'll kind of show some videos I recorded in terms of how I created some of the parts of this, which, you know, it wasn't a super easy process, but I like the result at the end. So check it out. And if you guys have any other questions, comments, leave them. I have pictures posted not only here but on my Instagram as well. All right, y'all, and I'm out of here. Peace. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Figures in Action. And I'm gonna take you to a little place I like to call the mechanical room. And the reason I call it the mechanical room is because that's what it says it is. So I am currently working on, and I'm gonna get a little louder because it's loud back here, but I'm currently working on another Detolf diode, which is a pretty big project. And one of the things that needs to be done with these, you know, if you're using bricks, is you need to put kind of the mortar into the bricks. The way I do that is first and foremost, you carve out the bricks. Secondly, you paint the bricks in the color that you choose, and or excuse me, I'm sorry, you cut out the pieces, you create the bricks. So you take the X-Acto blade and create those lines. You take the pencil and you widen those gaps. And then I paint it in whatever color I decide to paint it. In this case, I went with the traditional brick color. And after that's done, I have to spray these down with a acrylic paint sealer. So the reason the sealer is important is because I want to protect the paint from the fact that I'm about to be putting a bunch of spackling, which is going to make up the mortar. So one of the difficulties when you work on projects and you live in a, you know, two family household and there's no garage or anything like that, is it's cold, man. It's 10 degrees in Boston. It's been cold for the last week, like really cold. And so it's tough to spray these at home and then bring them inside because you can't leave them in the cold. They're not going to dry well. And if you bring them inside, the entire house smells of the spray. So I'm able to, this is the school I work at, because you know, I'm here on Saturdays. We get no people these days on Saturdays. I'm able to take my break, like my lunch break, and work on some of this stuff. So during my break today, I took each piece out and sprayed every single piece to protect it with, or to protect the paint, using a spray that pretty much is a protector, just an acrylic paint protector. And so after I do that, I have to now take spackling, which comes in the color white. And for the most part, this is a great example. Is we're back here. This is just cinder block wall, and so the mortar is pretty much kind of a light gray. So I didn't want to go with the white; it would be too bright. So I have to pretty much mix in a little bit of black paint to create the gray I'm looking for. And after I do that, now that the pieces are protected, I take usually a hard card, old credit card or what have you, and then I kind of spread the spackling onto this, and then wipe as much as the excess as I can with the card. But there's still kind of this misty white residue left over from the spackling, and so then I have to take a t-shirt, damp it up, and wipe down the t-shirt. This is where the spray comes into play, because if I don't spray and I just start wiping the t-shirt on it, it's gonna rub the color away, and you're just gonna see pink bricks, or you're gonna see, you know, it's gonna rub it enough where you're gonna see a lot of spots of pink. So the spray protects it, so when you wipe it down, you get a nice clean wall, and you don't have to worry about, you know, seen the painter or anything like that. So this was today's task, and now the next step is just to take these and kind of color them up a little bit, or black wash them a little bit to make it look more like the explosive look that I'm looking for. But yeah, man, there's a lot of damn pieces. I mean, it's wild. Like, all the stairs are full. and I got this little work table full. And the great thing about doing it here at work is I'm able to spray it. So I took it out to the dock, I sprayed it, left it in the sun for a little bit. So although it's cold, the sun was beaming at that point. The sun was hitting them good, drying them quick. Then I'm able to bring them to this bigger space, let them dry a little bit. Then I can bring them, I guess, bring them back to the mechanical room, and let them kind of dry here. And after I put the spackling, I also have to let that dry because that's still a little bit wet. So being able to do it in this room is perfect. The fumes are long gone because they were on the other side of the building near the dock. And yeah, man, this is a space that I work at once in a while whenever I have these big projects that that I have to do. But yeah, this room is cool. I actually took a picture. Where was it? I think I put some stairs up here and took a picture. But yeah, this is awesome, man, because if I ever did like a mechanical room or something like that, there's a lot of really cool reference points here. Yeah, but there's all this equipment and piping, and you get all these different styles of, you have like kind of the plastic coated piping and the metal piping, the copper piping. It's pretty cool, man. You get these big ass engines. I don't even know. This is wild, but it's just the visual, the look is pretty dope, man. You got like an old school control panel and shit. With digital. I wonder how old this is, man, but it's still kicking ass, American made, America. Hi, y'all. This is just part one, and I will continue. I may just, the next clip you see may be just the finished product, or it may just be another segment of me kind of giving you guys an idea of how I get these things done. Hi, y'all, and I'm out. What's up, y'all? And I guess I'm gonna make 2 videos on this dial, because there's gonna be another kind of behind the scenes as I work on this Detolf dial. But just wanted to give you guys a glimpse today of what it looks like here in Boston. We're expecting up to 2 feet of snow. It is about, I think, 1 p.m. on Saturday, and it is coming down sideways. But yeah, let me close this and show you guys what's happening over here. All right, so I got these, got them all over the place. But what I'm doing right now, let me turn on the overhead light so it's not too dark in here. But what I'm doing right now is, so I guess let me just take this one out of here and just put this one that's on the floor up here so you get a better idea of what's happening. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting these borders on the sides. And the purpose of these are obviously because it's necessary for a building, but it's also one of those things that is able to kind of hide the lines. So it hides where that split would be. And so that's kind of the idea here is you want to make it almost like when you're doing action figure photography, where you're trying to make it as seamless as possible across the board, and you want everything to look as if it's a real scene, just using action figures. Same deal here, real scene, just using these buildings that we build out of foam. So yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring each one, because what happened is that some of the backings of these were warped. So what I did to cover that up is I extended this piece a little bit here, because some of the gaps were bigger on some of these cubes. There's 4 of them, so some of them were bigger. So I said, but let me go with a universal size in terms of this part, and it's gonna hide that. And so what I'm doing now is, because these are a little bit different, so this one may be pushed back to centimeter more, or what have you, whatever it is, 2 centimeters, whatever it may be. I'm not measuring the space here in terms of making it a universal size. So, for example, this is a particular size, and this may be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking pieces of foam that I already, or the project foam, kind of just put them in here, and then making that pencil mark, and then cutting it, gluing it, and kind of making it or preparing that. So, and then also what I'm going to do is with these, I'm going to paint them here. So when I usually glue them, I don't glue them to the corner. So it's easy enough to kind of paint them and not get any of the paint on the brick. So yeah, so and then the details include also not only the sides but the fronts as well, in terms of getting it, giving it that look that you want. So this is where we're at. So today I will paint them, and then I had to put a little bit of the same stuff that I used to fill in the cracks here, that I used it here as well to try to cover this gap here. So the spackling was used here as well. Now what I'll do is I'll sand some of that off and I'll paint this, and hopefully it'll be seamless. But yeah, just want to give you guys a kind of a background of me working on this. It's a snow day, so there's no work today. I was supposed to be at work today. They canceled that, so I'm home all day. My daughter's in the apartment next door, and I'm as happy as can be, as my favorite lady's here, my work is here, and I'm watching How I Met Your Mother, one of my favorite shows. Y'all, and I'm out. Yeah, so I am definitely gonna make this is gonna be a two-parter, which makes sense because it is a huge dial, and it's really hard once you kind of start going through it all to remember every part of it. So I'm glad that I'm kind of going through this process. So part of making this dial, the fact that it's a destroyed dial, that the whole front of this building was destroyed, is that I need to make debris, and it can't all be little debris. So you have to create this bigger debris, because pretty much, oh man, and it's dark, you probably can't see it, but pretty much that whole front of the dial there, it's gonna be destroyed. So you need these chunks of brick and cement. So part of the process is giving them that grout, you know, as I would do, or as I did already with the bigger dial. I keep switching over here with a very poorly lit dial, but so I just wanted to kind of for a few minutes just come in here, just kind of let you guys know. So what I'm doing here is I had already put the color that I wanted to put into the spackling, so that now all the mortar that I'm using is kind of consistent. And so these pieces here, you know, you have to, just as much love as you give the dial itself, you have to do the same thing for these pieces. And so it's not just putting kind of the spackling, which creates or that you kind of put it into the space here. It's also getting these the sides stained and so forth. And on top of that, part of what's being destroyed in this die was the floor, and I used some of this felt to kind of make it look like a rug. And so I'm going to be putting some of these felt pieces here because the floor also got destroyed, so there should be some pieces with the rug on it. So it's not, you know, a lot of times you kind of see this finished product, but there's a lot that goes into it, man. And this is one of those projects that I wish I would have timed myself. I mean, I am creating five dials, really, because it's the 4 that go into the main IKEA Detolf, and then there's the rooftop that I'm also creating. So wanted to just kind of show you guys, so that, you know, it's kind of same deal. This is the skinnier foam board, and this is just the insulation foam board, and I just kind of cut these up on the press-on, and I'm waiting for them to dry so I can put that felt. The felt luckily does have a sticky back side, so I don't have to glue it or anything like that. So I'm just going to kind of finish doing this, and then the other thing that I'm doing too is the door. So the door, and I just have this little clip on it, because I wanted to secure that middle piece. So at first I just had like foam between here. So today I finally kind of cut that out and kind of put in the door. So I had to kind of reinforce it with some basswood there, because basically this stick, and then I use a thick one in the back as well. They're pretty much what's keeping these two pieces together. So I'm gonna make sure that's strong enough. So I just kind of glued that kind of a busted door there, and just kind of waiting for it to dry so I can then go in and stain the wood and match it to the rest of the stained wood on this dial. So this is kind of the ground floor facade of this building. Y'all, not sure if I'll have, I keep saying that, I'm not sure if I'll have another work in progress, but yeah, this is definitely going to be 2 videos. I'm trying to keep my videos to around 13 minutes long this year, and I don't want to make them any longer than that. I think people start to lose interest after a few minutes, so if I go 25 minutes, I just feel like it's too long. Y'all, and I'm out.